our very able Deputy Speaker should consider another round of induction of the chairs. But Honorable Speaker, in seconding this motion, Honorable Speaker, as the Honorable Owen has very ably articulated all the acts of Parliament that are being touched by this miscellaneous amendment bill, including the Children's Act, the Copyright Act, the Scrap Metal Act, the National Employment Authority Act, the Fisheries Management and Development Act of 2016, the Energy Act, the PPP Act, or rather the Public-Private Partnerships Act of 2021, the Parliamentary Service Act of 2019, and the Judicial Service Act of 2011. And Honorable Speaker, as members are aware, all our statute law miscellaneous amendments bills, and without the exception of this one, are usually to realign our laws or existing statutes with minor amendments that may not necessarily need a substantive bill to be published to amend. And Honorable Speaker, this bill is no exception. As I said, if you look at the amendments on the Children's Act, Honorable Speaker, this is basically aligning the Act to a court ruling. Honorable Speaker, you know the Children's Act of 2022 had a provision that denied sole male applicants from adopting a child unless that child was your relative, Honorable Speaker, and the courts have ruled that that was unconstitutional, and therefore that particular amendment is simply aligning with what the courts have ruled. Honorable Speaker, on the Copyright Act, as the Honorable Owen Bayer ably articulated, is touching on the provisions for equitable remuneration of our performers and producers of sound recordings, and also expanding the responsibilities of collective management organizations towards authors and performers. This, Honorable Speaker, is to ensure that our content creators, our performers and producers of sound recordings are properly remunerated, and the management organizations that run these things are not collecting money and administering that money in a way that disadvantages the producers of the sound recordings and performers. Honorable Speaker, on the Scrap Metal Act, as again was ably articulated by my deputy, this proposes to amend the Scrap Metal Act to provide for a special license for dealing in copper, aluminium, and their alloys. And Honorable Speaker, members including the Honorable Farah and the Honorable Member for Kieni, the Honorable Shiani, who represents the people of Kieni, and the Honorable Farah, who is our Deputy Speaker, and is always, when he's on the seat, is shouting order. Affirming order in the House. But surprisingly, when he's not on the seat, he's behaving in a manner likely to be described as disorderly. I was attracting the attention, Honorable Speaker, so that they may listen, because the Honorable Farah's constituents have a problem with power on the grid, and that he knows. And part of the problems have emanated from people vandalizing transformers, vandalizing lines on the grid because they are looking for aluminium, others are looking for copper or copper and aluminium alloys. And therefore, we want to have a special license so that if you deal with copper and aluminium to stem the rising cases of vandalism of transformers and other state or public infrastructure, Honorable Speaker, you will see even aluminium guardrails on our roads that are there to secure us on the roads in case of accidents, Honorable Speaker. People vandalize these things and go and smelt for a song things that are public infrastructure, Honorable Speaker. And you remember when the former President Uhuru Kenyatta was commissioning the SGR Phase 2, you remember him swearing in God's name that he will cite the execution of anybody who vandalizes that line. But you will be surprised, Honorable Speaker, parts of that line are still being vandalized, especially the rails, the guardrails along the corridor are being vandalized. Therefore, there must also be penalties. And now the amendments that we are doing here are enhancing penalties, so that if you are caught having vandalized any public infrastructure, Honorable Speaker, in the name of acquiring scrap metal, whether it is aluminium, whether it is copper, then you will pay very hefty fines and penalties that will deter vandalism and of course ensure that those who are trading in scrap metal are trading in scrap metal that is legally acquired, not vandalized from public infrastructure, like in our power sector, our road sector, and other public utilities, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to go to each of the acts because the Honorable Owen Bayer has very ably articulated all the amendments in all the other acts, and I thought I could just mention those as I second, and I beg to second, Honorable Speaker. I see the Honorable Owen is telling me to amplify the one on the Parliamentary Service Act of 2019. And Honorable Speaker, as he mentioned by passing, the proposal seeks to provide that the Commission, and that is the Parliamentary Service Commission, shall be responsible for performing functions necessary for the well-being of members and staff of Parliament, including settling of your mileage reimbursement rates and other facilitation relating to the management of state officers of Parliament. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to elaborate, but members know what this means. And if you know what this means, I have never in my life as a member of Parliament benefited from a shilling or even a coin in the name of what is called mileage. And even the member for Dagoretti North, the Honorable Beatrice Elach, from the time she was a nominated member of Parliament in Nairobi, and now that she represents a constituency in Nairobi. And you know, when you get a lady being elected in a constituency member, and especially in a volatile constituency like Dagoretti North, you must give respect to that kind of honorable member being elected in a constituency like that. And she will tell you she has never benefited from even a shilling in her time as a member of Parliament, despite the fact that she may have to do more trips to her constituency and back from Parliament. Within a day or within a week, she does more trips and covered more mileage than a member like our former Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Farah, who will probably go to his constituency once every weekend, travel for 300 kilometers to and fro, but that is the 30 kilometers the Honorable Beatrice will do 5 times probably in a day. It is possible for the member for Dagoretti North to be in her office at 7 a.m. At 8:30, she's in her constituency. 9:30, when the house is rising, she is here. At 11, she goes back to her constituency office, comes back to the house, and the same in the afternoon. And therefore, she also warrants to get some mileage. But we have never gotten, we have never had it to be an issue. But those who benefit, you will appreciate the work that the Parliamentary Service Commission does and why there is need now to align the Parliamentary Service Act with those functions of ensuring that they are taking care of your well-being as members, and also staff, our staff who are doing a very good job for us, so that all their welfare matters and well-being are catered for by the Parliamentary Service Commission and not any other body out there. And you know what I mean. And if you don't know, please know it is any other body out there. And I have not mentioned any other body. I have just said it is important that just like the Judicial Service Commission deals with judicial officers in the judiciary, this Parliament is an independent arm of government, just like the judiciary is an independent arm of government. And therefore, we must not be treated any differently. If the Judicial Service Commission takes care of the well-being of the members of the judiciary and their staff, we also need to align our Parliamentary Service Act so that our own commission takes care of your well-being. And you need not have any apologies having a commission to take care of your well-being, even those who benefit from mileage. You benefit from mileage because of the distance you come from in your constituencies. And you know, somebody who is traveling from Tiati, like the women rep for Baringo County, when she moves from Tiati, close to 800 kilometers away from the CBD, I must appreciate what she has to go through as compared to me, who will move a mere 15 kilometers to Kikuyu and back. The farthest corner of my constituency, I think, is about 40 kilometers from here. The farthest corner where I border with Kajiado County and one tip of Narok County. But Honorable Speaker, you know, even as we engage in other debates, including the one man, one woman, one vote, we must be cognizant of the kind of country that we all live in and appreciate each other as Kenyans. It is God who placed us in our various destinations where we call home. And nothing makes the Honorable Farah or the Honorable Lesuda not come to live in Kikuyu. Today I represent a constituency just outside Nairobi. And because of the proximity to Nairobi, we are hosting Kenyans from all walks of life, from Garissa, from Mandera, some from Tiaty, some from Western Kenya, some from the far north, as far as Marsabit County. And they are Kenyans who have every right to live in Kikuyu and in Kiambu. Honorable Speaker, I was telling somebody yesterday, in another 20 years or 10 years from today, I may not be a member of parliament for Kikuyu. I do not know who will be the member of parliament for Kikuyu. But any child who has grown up in Kikuyu and knows Kikuyu, irrespective of where they come from, can be elected as a member of parliament in Kikuyu. I will not be surprised, Honorable Speaker, if at one time the governor position in Kiambu goes to somebody who does not originally hail from Kiambu. That is the beauty for democracy, and that is the kind of country we want to build. Today, we have elected a president who many believed that there are communities that would never vote for a president from the Rift Valley. But we elected a president on the basis of what he espoused, what he stood for, not on the basis of where he came from. That is why, Honorable Speaker, elsewhere we have taken time, painfully, to stand for what is right, not what is politically expedient and what you think is politically popular in your village, but what is right and good for Kenya. I said yesterday, Honorable Speaker, Kenya is now playing at a global stage. We are globalizing our country. We cannot afford to dwell on village matters now. We cannot villagize, if there's such a word as villagizing. If there's globalizing, please let us not villagize our country. We have a beautiful country. A beautiful country that we cannot afford to villagize. A beautiful country where our president has placed on a global stage. And it is that globalization that we should be focusing on, not villagizing a beautiful country like Kenya. And I want to plead with all of you as members of parliament. Please, as you are told by the president on Madaraka Day, you are bestowed with a very dignified position as members of the National Assembly of Kenya. National Assembly, that's why you're called MNAs, members of the National Assembly. Not members of some village assemblies, not members of your county assemblies. You are members of the national assemblies to espouse that what is of national good and the greater public good in the nation of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, because I can see I'm short of time, let me just close by saying that there is a famous saying, which I could quote, that says you can't build a kingdom with someone who still wants the attention from the village. We will not build our nation if we still want attention from our villages. Let us build a nation where we need and seek attention of the nation of Kenya, not the attention of your villagers. With that, I second.
Thank you. So, the Honorable Ichungwa, did I hear you say one man, one woman, or one man, one shilling? What did you say? One man, one woman? Not 1 shilling.
Honorable Speaker, I think I said one man,
one woman,
because you know I am a man of a Christian faith. I am married to a beautiful lady from Nyeri County, and you know what they say of our beautiful ladies from Nyeri County, and therefore have to keep